Hello and welcome to Re-enthused. Today we are looking at this, which is the PC-FX, and this was NEC's follow-up to the PC Engine line. Now this was a fifth generation machine. It was released in 1994 and discontinued in 1998, which puts it into obviously the fifth generation of consoles, coming out a couple of months after the Sony PlayStation. Now the big thing with this machine is that whilst all the other big machines in the fifth generation were 3D capable, this was not. It did not have a 3D polygon generator at all. The reasoning behind this is NEC basically believed that existing technology just wasn't powerful enough. You had lots of very blocky objects, and so they actually put a really, really good 2D processor in here, a JPEG stream decoder. And the idea was that you'd use pre-rendered 3D with 2D graphics instead. Now, that failed, obviously. And, as history has shown us, the machines that were successful were the machines that had 3D, specifically and especially the Sony PlayStation, but also Sega's Saturn. But that's a bit of a simplification of the story, because the actual PC-FX, whilst it was released in 1994, was first shown off in its working state at trade shows in 1992. Now that puts it slap bang in the middle of the previous generation. So that's a couple of years after the Super Nintendo, the Super Famicom technically was released. And so this would have been competing against that and the Mega Drive to begin with. Plus, there are several obvious signs that NEC intended to upgrade this through various means before it got to the time of the fifth generation. So what we know is that NEC showed this off at trade shows in 1992, when it would have been released and was ready to be released by all accounts as a 32-bit machine in the 16-bit fourth generation. It would have been a powerhouse with its ability to do 2D. And if we'll see some of the games later, that 2D ability, the ability to decode JPEG streams, means this has got pretty much perfect FMV. It's full screen. It's very clear, unlike, even really what the fifth generation machines were capable of. But also, the character animation is very nice, with very nice graphics, very clear and unblocky graphics, again, unlike its fourth generation counterparts. But the view of the NEC board and the people they'd shown it to, they were not happy with the fact that it was not backwards compatible with the PC Engine. And at this point, the PC Engine was still doing very, very well in Japan. It was in second place. It was beating the Mega Drive. So the idea of replacing that with a machine where people would have to buy whole new libraries of games did not fill anyone with confidence. And so this was dropped in favour of the Super Graphics, which was not, again, particularly successful. There are other reasons why this failed. It was quite pricey when it came out, and also, not overly so to be honest, but also NEC, for whatever reason, had decided they wanted to aim this at a slightly higher aged audience, and they wanted to rely on that FMV ability, and so basically bring on more anime IPs into the game market. And as such, they basically said to Hudson, you cannot bring your old games across. So no Bomberman, no PC Boy, or as we know as Bonk. They had to be brand new FMV related games. And so, yeah, lots of the reasons why this flopped. Although I say flopped, it did sell around approximately 400,000 units. So whilst it isn't a massive success, it wasn't a huge failure either. And it came very, very close to at least a US launch. NEC had begun looking at what games they could release in that market. So they were definitely looking at doing that even just before it was finally discontinued. But anyway, machine itself. So it's based around a 32-bit NEC RISC chip running at 21 to 25 megahertz. Again, genuinely powerful enough certainly to compete in the fifth and generation, and a powerhouse in the fourth generation. It's got a 2-speed CD-ROM drive. It's got 2 megabytes of main RAM and 1 megabyte that's shared through various chips and processes. It's got a ton an absolute ton of expandability, and this is where we kind of see where NEC were going. So NEC had already said they were releasing a 3D ability for this, and this is how they intended to do it by all accounts. So on the bottom here is one of the many expansion slots, and if we open this up, we can see in there that was designed to house a 3D accelerator card. So it would have given this effectively 3D. But the ports don't stop there. We've also got this one on the back here, and this, if we open this up, that is actually a SCSI capable expansion slot. This could, with the right cables, allow a PC to use its CD-ROM drive via the SCSI bus, and also would potentially have added the ability to add even more expansion to it as well via a SCSI bus. And if we look at the front here, we've got this little door, and this is a battery backed up memory card, which is fairly cool. So it had plenty of expansion, which is obviously partly the reason why it's this tower style case, so they could do that. The controller's pretty good. PC Engine controllers have all been pretty good. This one's no exception. It's very comfortable to use. It's got 6 buttons. Weirdly enough, using Roman numerals, which is an interesting one. But as I said on a recent stream, there weren't really any conventions at this point. People were doing pretty much what they wanted. So Roman numerals for NEC, I don't see that one ever catching on, but hey. And yeah, there were quite a few games for it as well. There were in total 63 games released over its lifespan. The last game for it being released in 1998, and that was First Kiss Story. Obviously, they're all Japanese games, so a lot of them are absolutely impenetrable unless you read Japanese. They've all got really, really nice FMV sequences. A few of them are unskippable, which is always fantastic. Now, there are some standout games. If you look here, you can just probably see some of these games. There's Return to Zork, which obviously came out in a lot of other things, but it was kind of an attempt to bring the Zork adventure game into the FMV era. It's pretty good. I enjoy it quite a lot. And yeah, these are all a lot of the games came in these giant, almost Shockbox, Neo Geo Shockbox style cases, but you did get jewels as well. So there's a jewel game there, and a single jewel there. So yeah, it's an interesting machine, certainly. Had it been released when it was planned to, it almost certainly would have been a success. The PC Engine was already doing well, and this was just massively more powerful than almost anything else out there at the time, certainly the 4th generation. It literally is as powerful pretty much in every way as most of the 5th generation machines, except for the 3D part of it. Had this had 3D, it would probably have competed quite well in the 5th generation as well. So it's a real shame, but yeah, that's unfortunately NEC rolled the dice and they kind of took the wrong option. If they'd have released when they had the machine ready, it probably would have been a success, and if they'd got that 3D accelerator out, it may even have been able to survive into the 5th generation, but yeah, unfortunately it was not to be. Right, well, let's take a look at some of the games then. So here we are with our first game. This is Zeroigar, which is a shoot 'em up. Now, if you know the PC Engine, one of the things it was particularly well known for was some very, very good shoot 'em ups. This is okay. I like it. I do like it. I don't think it's as good as some of the better PC Engine shoot 'em ups, certainly things like Gunhead. But this is still fun. It's very colourful and it's very fast. And here you get a little bit of an example of that FMV. Again, full screen FMV, and this is running in widescreen. This hasn't been stretched. The PC-FX was capable of using Super Video and was capable of some fairly high resolutions compared to a lot of others. That's what we've got it plugged into is the Super Video, and also lots of colours. This was capable of 16 million colours, pretty much the same as the Sony PlayStation. So yeah, it was not a slouch by any means. Right, well, let's skip this and get into the actual game. We are running from a 2-speed CD-ROM, so there will be slight delays. Right, so here we are. As you can see, it's nice and colourful. Lots of detail on the ground, really, with some parallax. There's just not very many bad guys at any stage. Well, apart from, I think later levels it increases. But when you do get some of the more impressive bad guys, it is impressive. Oh. Also, it's not a one-hit death game. You do get a small energy bar at the back, at the bottom there. And we get lots of power-ups as well. Really should kill those things slightly closer down so they don't get time to separate. There you go. I mean, for me, it just the bad guys in this, the normal bad guys anyway, don't just aren't very inventive. Whereas a lot of the PC Engine shoot-'em-ups had some truly inventive bad guys. However, once we get to some of the later bosses, then things change obviously a lot. But there's not really much animation in them and stuff, and the one thing that this console was really good at is animation, so the fact that these are so low in that, it's disappointing. Yeah. There's a fairly good sense of speed thanks to the backgrounds moving like they are. Right, here we are. This is the first boss. Yeah, we'll skip the cutscene. Right, trying to remember how. I think it fires in the middle first. Nope, I was wrong. I was very wrong. So yeah, it's a nice, big and colourful. Fortunately, the one thing they did retain from the PC Engine is there is built-in auto fire, so you can just hold the button down. The other thing that this has got, which the PC Engine missed out on, is 2 joystick ports. The PC Engine notoriously expected you to use a turbo tap to have more than one player. They only ever came with 1 joystick port. But this has got 2, which is good. Right. After dying, let's move on to the next game. Yep, so this next game is Chip and Chap Kick, which is a single-screen platformer, much in the same vein as Bubble Bobble, Rainbow Islands, Parasol Stars, that kind of thing. This doesn't scroll up and down like the last 2, but it's kind of a very similar style of game. I also like this a lot as well. It's very colourful, very fast, lots of animation. The other thing is I'm skipping a lot of the FMV because this had some interesting things where they started to add in a lot more adult stuff near the end of the console, and so just totally normal games like this would have just weird things like upskirts on young girls and stuff, which is just a little bit weird. There we go, we can choose for Chip and Chap. It is 2-player, so you can have both characters on screen at once with 2 players. But if you choose 1 player, you will just get 1. There's no computer control. Right, so this is our overworld. Let's obviously start on stage 1. And here we are. It's a lovely, colourful game, and the idea is we knock these things out like that. You can also kick them. So we go here and kick. And if we can hit them, there we go. If we kick them right, it will hit the other people and knock them out, which is really cool. Oops. There we go. And that's the first level over. So yeah, so it's basically the same game on each level, but there we go. Slightly quite inventive bad guys, and really fast action, really colourful action as well. Yeah, I like this game. It's simple, but it's fun. And now we're playing Zenki. So Zenki is basically a kind of role-playing beat-em-up style adventure game. It's really nice. It's got some very, very colourful and very inventive bad guys. Skip all of the cutscenes. You get to choose from our two characters. Never got on with the female character. She's got projectile attack, and I can't go on with it. I much prefer the melee attack of the male character. So we are very Golden Axe style bad guy beating on a peasant there. Right. So here we go. Let's take on this weird dog creature first. There I see you've got several moves. So it really is like a beat 'em up. Oh, blimey. Right, let's... Oh, yeah, now I'm getting my ass kicked. Let's... Got to remember, hit and run. Because this guy is fast and does a lot of damage when he hits. Oh. There we go. Right, now we have to pick up his eyeball. I don't know why, but that's a theme for this game. Very dramatic entrance. Anyway, so that was the NEC PC-FX. It's an interesting console. It's attainable, certainly. The price is starting to creep up on auctions. It's still relatively affordable from Japanese auctions. I got mine just a few years ago, unopened, literally brand new in box for about 80 quid, but the price has risen quite a large amount since then. But you can, if you're just patient, you can get one. Now, should you get one? Well, they are fantastic machines. The games are quite tricky to get hold of, but if you don't mind not having original games, let's say, there is absolutely zero copy protection on the PC-FX. You can literally just put ISOs on it, and they are readily available on the internet. But there are games available, and you can get some of them for cheap. Some are hard to get hold of than others, but yeah, no, it is a fantastic machine. It does have quite a few good games, just not a huge library of them, so bear that in mind before you consider buying one. Right, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like. If you really enjoyed the video, please hit subscribe. If you didn't enjoy the video or you have something else to say, then please leave it in the comments below. See you next time.
なるほどな。異空間に誘い込んで自分たちに有利にしようってことかよ。